All right, folks, let's get right to it. Welcome back. Get on over to harmonictrader.com. Get your 2 week free trial. Send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. 14-day free trial. Get the software. We'll get into that in a second. And get with what we do on Harmonic Trader. Let's start with Bitcoin. What's up, everybody? Great to see you today. What's going on in the chat here? Welcome, welcome. I'm a little late today. It's all good. Getting everybody in, settling in. First real fresh cup of coffee right now. Well, actually, second pot, but my first get me through the afternoon. What about you guys? How you doing? Good evening. Where are you from? You must be over there, over the pond, if you're talking evening. Great to see you. Yeah, Netherlands, cool. What's up, Carthago? Everyone else? Vegas, Greg, Steve, Tie-Dye, Gamma, Loot, incredible. Yeah. Let's get it. What are we doing here? We're after the halving. The post-halving is come. The halving is come and gone. We're now post-halving, and we're back to dealing with harmonic patterns like always. Let's just do the rundown with Bitcoin. Quickly updated. We know that these two 4-hour patterns are creating the floor and the ceiling for this current range. We know that basically 61K, 60,000 somewhere. Yeah, that's your floor. You know, I saw some people talking saying they got in at 59. I don't know what exchange triggered at 59. The number really is 61,000. So a lot to get to. No, I didn't check out ACI. I'll definitely look at that. If you guys have some things you want to look at, let me know. Oh, you know what? I was thinking that was ACB. And we'll look at that in a second. I want to start with crypto. I want to get into the Bitcoin. The whole deal of when is this going to break out? Are we missing any opportunities? Never. Never, never. In fact, I've been saying this for a little while that I thought we could run to 68,000, maybe 68.8. That's the target 2 here. Target 2 up here at 67,684. 68's the number. Maybe we get a little bit shy of that. And we need to see what happens in the next probably literally 48 hours. We come back on Thursday. Bitcoin's got a big test. You got this big target 2, which we know that crypto loves to go to target 2s, especially on like these 4-hour patterns. But it is a type 1 off of this initial crab. And you got to like the fact that it's still hanging up here. You got to like the fact that, you know, I think if we were going to retrace harder, we'd probably be under 60K already. Take a look at what the daily's showing us. And this is the big deal that we want to look for. Really interesting setup. High level HSI pattern. Oversold signal on the daily, and we have checked back, and that as well is at 61,000. And clearly, you're spending 3 sessions there, checking back, stabilizing. I'd say that you have a yellow dot. I don't know why that yellow dot's not showing up. I think it's the time limit. Let me take a quick look. Some people have been asking me, like, how much time is allowed for the check back? And let me go back here, because we normally get these signals and then a retest of that bar. That's how the check back phenomenon works. All right, but what if we go too far? Like, let's say if we have a signal all the way from the past here, how do we deal with that? How many bars do we allow? I think we have a preset in there for 30. I'll have to look. We should have a yellow dot though, and I don't know why that's not popping, but on a daily, that makes this bar from 5 days ago critical. In fact, dare I say that the open of that bar at 63,500, critical going forward. What does that mean? You should not see this thing back under 63. Maybe a little retest, but based on the daily scenario, we should be starting to build. And look at where we are in terms of amplified and HSI. Clear, complex structure. This is something we have talked about of why it's so critical. This M formation, okay, that's a really big deal. That M formation, complex formation, if you're brand new to looking at wave analysis on indicators, let me direct your attention to basic members page, okay, and get volume 2, access volume 2, because in that for me was a big deep dive, and you can get all the harmonic pattern books here. Click on volume 2. The breakthrough for me in harmonic patterns in general was being able to put confirmation to this. So, you look at perfect here, complex structure, okay? This is what it should do. You're looking at the ideal model. You get an M formation, and then the correction down to the 50 line. Okay, that's a minimum reactive move. If that's what Bitcoin's doing now, which I think it is, in this case, this is amplified RSI, treat it the same way. It's just this got oversold even, which is why we do amplified. Okay, your trend line, your downtrend here, totally broken. And now what are you looking at? Well, you're in a great spot. All we need to see is Bitcoin. Look, that pivots up. And I really think even any close, like you get a daily close above yesterday's high, around 67.3, you really have something. You have something that could do the move now, not later. People were looking for a big correction. I don't see it. At least we go to 68. We do a thorough test, a thorough wash of this 68, 69 level. But there's, it's pointing in the right direction. It's doing what really we want to see it do. We've kind of talked about this for a while. That's right. Yeah, APV, the 16th was dot. Nice, Hugo. Nice. Got the coffee at 6:30. How can you do 6:30 coffee though at night? Aren't you awake all night? This is like the latest I can drink coffee without being awake all night. So I'm getting it just under the wire here. Not to mean to slurp into your ear. But this is a big deal. This is all part of the harmonic stuff we do where, listen, we're trying to layer a framework, pattern, structure, indicators, proprietary readings like HSI and amplified, because they're exposing the pivots and the levels unlike anything else. Everyone else is looking at trend lines and things like that. We're trying to put a little bit more. Now the weekly, this is the big deal. The weekly is in a spot where, I said this last time, are we pausing or are we doing more? Because check out what Amplified decides to do here. It came out last week, and I said this week's critical. If you're going to get the follow through where the longer term correction happens, it happens on a follow through move after we break it out. Otherwise, we might be looking at another turn up, little return back into the overbought again. That's why this weekly close, daily close even, today could set this off where the weekly begins again. Nice. You like that. Also, And HSI is almost oversold, folks. What I think will happen is this will eventually test much in the same way we did last time by going sideways, working the range for a couple more bars, a couple more weeks. But also, this is my job to highlight the critical readings and structure that get us moving. And that's another one here where at least you had an oversold and then you go up to the 50 and go above the 50. This weekly reading is a lot like where we are currently on the daily. And this other weekly here, boy, you come back into that zone. That really could be about as strong of a move as you could see. I like it. I'm not really nothing changes. Nothing changes on our whole scenario. And I know I probably received too many inquiries about selling all. People were ready to sell all of their crypto a week ago. People are like, that's it. Bitcoin's down $15,000 off the top. I'm going to sell it all. Doesn't work like that, folks. If that happens, you find yourself in an uncomfortable position on a 10% pullback, you're over allocated. You're purely over allocated. But nothing changes to get us to the 1618. That's the plan. That remains the plan. That's 103, 1025. Yep. Yep. So what we want to see, another day or two, basically turning up. If we're really going to be strong, okay, we're going to turn up now, break out above these signals, just like we did last time. Okay? Little 2-3 week pause, 2-3 week pause. Yellow dot, yellow dot. Doesn't take more than a few bars. Because what really should happen, you get a yellow dot that's strong, it should be like that. You hit the dot and then you start to break down. You hit the dot, start to break down. Here, a little bit of difference. Okay, a pause, 2-3 weeks, turn up. Okay, here's a bullish signal. I remember we highlighted this. Again, just I get these questions of people really. It's been great. People have embraced HSI. I really feel like it is an optimal indicator, especially with the harmonic values that are built in with the patterns, wherever the signals come in, okay, you pay attention to those levels and the corresponding price action. I mean, here's a bullish one, signals and follows through. Bearish signal does not, it pauses and reverses up. But the key is the 3 to 4, 2 to 5, whatever window. Tell me what happens within the next 3 to 5 after that. 3 to 5 here, 3 to 5 here. Do you going to get the follow through, or is this going to turn back up? It looks like it's going to turn back up. Sometimes it only requires like a 1 bar breakout. You get the signal, a couple of pausing bars here, but then you start to turn back up. That's what's going on here. And that's a strong deal. That's a strong signal. I think we'll still bang between 68 and 64 for a few more weeks. We work this out. But you're getting a strong response here where if it was truly a bearish continuation, and I think we probably, 1 more week, maybe 2 more weeks of just sideways action, that's strong. That's strength. Appreciate it. What's up? What's going on, Paris? What's up, Andre? Miss Stephanie, Mr. Lauderdale. What's the plan? William's asking. What's the ultimate plan? 103 or 180 to 210? Great question. Well, I think 103 is in the bag. I don't care. It's just a matter of when. Is it now? Is it like in the first 6 months? or 3 months after the halving, or is this something longer term? Again, all of our targets have a January expiration on them. It has always been about this entire year. It's always been about Bitcoin being the focus, needing Bitcoin to be the leading coin to get everything else moving and continuing. All right. And Bitcoin just took a 10% dump. All those altcoins did 50, 60, and then set up perfectly. So I really think this is there, but where's the acceleration? Like where's the point where, hey, I missed out? I still say that's above 73.5, 74,000 daily close. Above those levels, there you go. You're going to shoot the gap. Now, the question of, is it 103 or is it like 180 or 210? Because what are the numbers? And we've seen this on several cycles, okay? The 314, 3618, extreme harmonic pattern extensions. 314, and I really love the 314 number. It's like when you're able to ride one of these that go to a 314, I've been on a few, big moves, where by the time you get to the 314, you're buying it like an 886 retracement, and it goes to a 314. Yeah, those change your life. And this one of being a 314 at 190, I think is a maximum upside. That is definitely something where um, a good possibility. I'd say better than 50% chance because we have done it every cycle. We have done these 314 expansions minimum, but the way we look at it on the harmonic scale is say, hey, when we get to 2618, I'm going to start looking for every reversal signal above that level. That's above 161,800. How about that? 161,800. So that creates a window. That creates, I think, an expectation, a top end kind of target, dream target, but it's pretty much from there to 200,000 would be targeting that for an overspill move. But here's the thought, and you should be happy to do so. You sell the Bitcoin a little bit on the way up, some at 103. Why? It becomes a lot easier to try to ride the rest. So my thought here, we get to 103,000, then we're going to look. And again, if it's 3 months or 6 months, the key to remember is that once we get into those levels, it's an accelerated, always is, it's an accelerated trend. So you're not going to have time to react. Sorry. And I need to warn everybody now. Okay, spot these up. We get to 103. All right, then we can look and see what happens, say, the next week or couple of weeks. But if we're up here and we hit a 2618, or we go to the 314, like something like that, you are just by sheer harmonic phenomenon. Okay, you're up there at that kind of a level. You may have a week to capture those prices. You may have like a 30-day window where you capture those prices. Okay, because when that unilateral move is done, you're going to get something like that. And you will miss it in the same way everyone missed 65,000 the last time. Be aware of that. Listen, we're halfway through. I've said this before. Yeah, we're all waiting for the big moon phase. But in terms of time, we're halfway through. Like this time next year, you'll be fading out, if not sooner. So that's for the big targets. great. Consider that. For now, 103 is all we really need to concern ourselves with. Let's look at the total index. Crypto total market cap. Here you go. This one, a lot like Bitcoin with a dot. Also, 4-hour patterns. There you go. Another situation, two crabs. In this case, though, the total is a little different than Bitcoin's chart because we already did the dance. We did the 1-2, so by definition, that's a 1, and there's target 2. There's some bearish confirmation. We're not at target 2 yet. Maybe we get to 2.4 trillion on this move. But that should be setting us up for a target 2 here where you have a better chance on the total index to at least maybe go back up to 2.6, make a run to the 886. This is another one where looks great. I just think you're going to have to expect this thing to do some work. And it's pretty much 2.55 to basically 2.2. That's your range. We'll continue with that. 1 second. 1 moment, please. Thank you. Okay. Hey, what's up, Matthew? He's asking, did the 2022 bat pattern ever put in a type 2? Great question. On Bitcoin, it was, we had them both. Total index too. This is the deal with that Bitcoin chart. So he's referring to this. This never had it. That bat pattern never had a type 2. On Bitcoin, it was 2 weeklies that set it off. Where'd you go? There you go. That was never a 2 of 2. It was a type 2 off of that bat, and then the secondary bat. Really not, look, that's not an easy situation. But at least you did have the 2 of the 2 back to back. I did have it on, hold on. Type 1, and then there's 2, and it just by, what was 38.25? What was the low? 38.58. I mean, it's so close for that perfect type 2. Back-to-back patterns always helps. And what about like a couple of these wickier feeds did get down there. Where was the low? 38.83. And it's these two patterns for the last cycle. Now, I will say this, okay, we did have, for this cycle, things like GBTC and Bitcoin futures charts. Remember these? Monthly. Oh, hold on. There you go. That monthly Gartley never came back. And there's GBTC hanging right at 60. Was the weekly chart too? Yeah, the weekly had the same deal. It's just a same pattern. That's GBTC. What was the the Bitcoin futures? BTC pound F. There you go. Bitcoin futures pattern. Yeah, this is what we had on Bitcoin futures. It was what it actually ended up being on this chart was a rather ugly retest of this original deep crab. You had a few other ones lower, but you got to say that 30K from a harmonic perspective, even though it overshot it, is your big resistance going forward. I mean, big support, the floor going forward. I'm looking at, let's take a look at this. So we do have this interesting prior butterfly pattern up here. If I think I got to add the filters. I got to increase the filters that would look back and say, okay, because right now, if you get a T1 and then it doesn't come down, it comes down but doesn't retest. I think it's by default 100 bars. It won't generate a T2, even though it retested all the way here. Okay, your XA level at 70, what's that, 70, it's 74, was hit. But even if I was looking at that as a pattern, the fact that we now have not one, but two HSI dots, HSI triggers here, it just suggests this thing is stubborn. It's stubborn at that 60K. So I think you just need another week or two. That's what we just need. It's a time consideration, and we could be up here, 64 to 68. And I said this last week that the 68 retest, okay, easy within the larger signals. I'm good on all of that. Look, I want to see other opportunities. Let's highlight a couple of immediate patterns. Okay, I'm going to go show you guys some T coin patterns here. Here's the boba, not bobo, but boba. Boba on. Come on. 4 hour? Yeah, big bat pattern on the 4 hour. So here we go with 4 hour patterns, daily oversold. 4 hour patterns, daily oversold. Daily oversold? Yes. 4 hour patterns, you want this as a minimum? Yes. There. That's around 39 cents. What are some things that did work recently? Definitely making a nice jump. Remember Akash Network? This one I mentioned is getting a lot of talk. Now let's look at this. This one did beautiful patterns there, 340, 350. The daily time frame had an even better structure. Well, yesterday that was at all-time new highs. And this is something where, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to trade that, or are you going to hold on to that and hope that it just keeps going? Because at one point yesterday, this was up 50% off of that move, and you come all the way back down. You don't want to see that kind of shrinkage. I mean, no guy wants to see shrinkage at all, but you know what I'm saying? It's just this kind of a move when we're up 50% in a day with crypto, you're going to have to expect that these things will give them back. They will give them back. But this has been a good one. Pattern dot, we mentioned that before. It was a 4 hour oversold, daily oversold, daily pattern, 4 hour time frame. Yeah, there too. Let's find some others. Well, how about H bar? There was a zillion of these last week. Now they're playing out. Look, H bar up 20%. What would cue me into thinking there's something there? Where'd it go? Big, oh, that's a weekly. Where's my daily pattern? Daily shark, retest, yellow dot. That's HSI at work, folks. That's the magic of HSI. And it's a T2. There's T1. Yes, you can overshoot, but there's confirmation. And there's, look, there's a few different levels. Hey, I got my eyes off the chat. What's up, Mitch? Mitch Ray in the house. I just saw you, man. I had my eyes off the chat last week, and we always want to keep it cool in this chat here. I appreciate that. Great. We've got some more people coming in. Great to see everybody. Little late start. Boba Fett coin is the coin currency of Mandalorians. I don't know, but here's another one. HNT sitting right on the hop level. Okay, ugly bat, but you want these kind of things. I'm watching Amplified. I need that to turn up. Hasn't done the move yet. But, look, daily is getting oversold. That's a big pattern. What about 4 hour? Give me the 4 hour patterns. Oh, it was this back here, 360 area. Couple more things that have yet to move. New patterns, things that have yet to move. There's, I think we mentioned this last week, Filecoin. People were crazy about it. Look what happened last week. Daily. Where'd you go? I know it's a daily pattern. There it is, the bat pattern. It's the bat pattern, right, Mitch? It's the bat pattern. 543. Patterns that have yet to move. And here's the thing. Let me walk it through, everyone. So we were here over a week ago. There's your pattern. Software designates the T1. What does that mean? It's the first time the pattern's completed. Little sun icon for the terminal bar. There's HSI. Okay. Dot. Now, what do you need? A retest of that bar. So even if you're late to the show and you're saying, all right, I didn't get it at 543. Well, you can still get it on some of these inside bars. At a minimum, 748. Still another dollar higher. A couple others yet to move. I mean, yet to really move. Things like Gala was another one right off the top. Daily oversold. Right there, even if you just use the dot. Okay, there's the dot bar. It doesn't go official till it closes. You open that, the open of that bar is like 4.1 cents. That's your floor. And then you go. Couple more. How about, where is Mutable X? That was one everyone was hot on. Daily oversold. It's got a 4 hour pattern. Although I really want the daily. I mean, I'm preferring daily oversolds here at this point. Let me show you, where did Axie Infinity, look, just another one. Daily. No, not a 4 hour. This is daily. Daily plus a dot, retesting that 660 area. There. And I think it was another bat on the inside here. Hold on. Butterfly. We have a bunch of patterns looking left on that. 650, you know the deal. But the dot triggers, stabilizes, and that's just waiting to go to 872, maybe as high as 1050 again. And I do want to say something on these. Trade these. Don't hold these. Trade these. Okay? Why? Because really, with the ones that have not done the big moves yet, they're not in price discovery. They haven't reached 382 levels minimum. Maybe you get you go from pattern to pattern. But that's about it. It's a great move. I mean, you could almost double. That's almost a double. I would say go shoot for 1050. Okay, but everything's there that you want to see. But don't expect this to blast through. Why? Because, well, just consult your weekly time frame. What are the chances this thing goes to all-time highs? Well, we're not anywhere close. Where would the 382 be? You'd be at $35 if that was at a 382. If this was really strong, we'd already be at the 382 on the weekly. And that's something everyone should look at, consider. Doesn't matter even on the data feed. I mean, at this point, pretty much they all did a massive 95% correction, but only the ones that are really got mojo to move forward have recovered. Go to things like, give me some of these AI stuff, AGIX. You know, if AGIX was not going to, it would, if it wasn't going to do anything, we'd be here. You know, that's like the relative position. Okay, instead, you've already done a 224 move off that prior cycle. I think I highlighted this last time as well, where the goal is to do a 314. That's the goal for every one of these. You're looking to be participating in a parabolic move. That's what a moon phase means. You go to a 2618 to 3618, at least a 314, which is here at 180. Where's the daily on this? AGIX. Yeah, you've got some dots here, so daily oversold. Tell me about some 4-hour patterns. Nice. Deep crab right off the top. Not bad. Others that haven't moved so much. I mean, you've seen some that have moved, but another one is ICP. Okay, daily, you got oversold. You're up here at some HSI currently. This is something I wanted to highlight, but where's the, sorry, I had a, maybe this is a 4-hour. Confuse this with Filecoin all the time. I had a bat structure here. It doesn't matter. It's like 11.30 to 12 bucks on ICP, and there's a bearish bat at the moment. That would be a type 2 there. Couple more. Yeah, we'll look at dollar yen. Absolutely. Squirrely crypto, you read my mind. CRV. Ready to do another launch phase. Remember this? Daily. Daily pattern. Type 2, yellow dot. This has yet to move. This reminds me of this setup right here. But I do want to kind of highlight the fact that you should not be looking for more than 60 cents. I mean, it's right back down there. It's ideal. It's beautiful. But I think for this first kind of type 2 move, let's focus just on that immediate bat. There's, look, 1, 2, 3, 4 patterns on the daily. Every time you've had 50% move, come right back down. Those are great moves, but let's just like call it for what it is. This is, you know, great patterns. Longer term hasn't really done much to prove it's going to be a bigger recovery sensation. But as a trade, short-term trade, you're there. Can you get to 80 cents? Like 45 to 80? That would be, I think, a real nice move, and probably that would be the level, the amount that you would go on that. But that would be it. So part of the key being you get up there, you stall out, you're done. Couple more. Remember this Cartesi thing? Yeah, this is another one. Has not moved yet. Has not moved yet, folks. This should go be printing, 28 to 30 cents very soon. You're at 21. And there's the dot sitting right on the XA level at 1871. Okay, that's the way to frame it out. And look at the, let me bring this up. Let me blow it up. Okay, yellow dot. I talked about this last time. Goes official on the close of that bar. So the 16th, that's the official signal. T1, icon, dot, bang. Next bar, retest the open. That's the little kind of secret way that I use the dot, where I'm really, like, if I'm going to wait for the dot, You could still ask yourself, well, there's some stupid dot here, Scott. What do I do with that? Where is the trade? Is it 20 cents? Is it 18 cents? Well, I like to do zones. So if you get to there at the open, 18.3 cents, this XA level is like 18.7. That frames it out. You spend 3-4 days there. Now you start to get going again. And this is, a 28 to 30 cent situation. That's where you're targeting this reaction to go. Yep. What's up, New York? How you doing today? Wants to look at sand. Sandbox. Sand. Talk about metaverse not doing anything. Sand has put in a number of these patterns. Okay, making its way slowly to 54. I think you have to go back though. Check it out. Prior pattern at 43. Come back, yellow dot. So I would say it's probably more like this. Taking its time, but the last couple of days have been impressive. At least 54. I would say more like 65. And we'll see. I mean, just ride it up. Like the easiest way is let's ride this HSI, track that. You are overbought. You're overbought here in the same way you were back here, but look what happened. Okay, you didn't register anything, and that's why I don't worry about HSI until it rolls over, until it gives me a dot. So you still got a ways to go here. Almost a magnet effect where you keep going, and then how do we really know if we get HSI and amplified? Amplified can turn up in the next day or two. That should spring you not only 54, I mean, well above 50, 54. I'm saying more like 65 area, 64, 65. Little tiny moves, but they're, I mean, they're seemingly tiny moves, but they're good. SEI, this is like a lot like Jupe and SUI, a whole bunch of these 4-hour bearish bat pattern. It was this 4-hour former hop level, 51 cents. Okay, this is it's not pretty, but it is kind of like a looping, goes up, target 2, and then comes all the way back down, hop level, dot level. Okay, I'm watching this because we're already generated that bearish bat pattern right off the low. And HSI, it's a little overbought at the moment, but you got patterns down there. I mean, you got a number of patterns. You got daily oversold happening. Let me show you one or two more. Then I got to move on, get into some stocks, some of the miners. Look, Bitcoin Cash. Really beautiful daily oversold. Check. What's the 4-hour pattern? Crab to shark. So wait on that. 443 is the low. Dealing with a couple of HSIs right there and there. I think it's a pause. Not too concerned about this because I would really expect that crab pattern to get a retest. 646. Finish the type 2. Those always help. Always having those back-to-backs help. Yeah, I heard that, Justin. Yeah, BlackRock partnership with HBAR. But it's, it's all right. One more from New York, GTU. You're the man. You are the man. Gate chain. Daily. Oversold. Dot pattern. Thank you. See, this is why you get the software. He already knew days ago this was an ideal setup. T1 bat pattern. It's just an 886. It's a swing 886 off of the March range. And in fact, that's probably the simplest way to describe what happened. What happened in March and April? You went up, you did a pre-halving blast on your T coins, and now you did a monthly reset. Not a full reset, but a monthly reset. 886. There. Can we go like that and maybe back down? Very easily. But I like that, and we should be, with a lot of these that are type 1s on the daily, we should be thinking reaction here. Sizable reaction, but thinking reaction here. Let's couple more. The big boys. How about AVAX? Dot. 4-hour time frame. What was here? Shark pattern. Now a couple of these have some back-to-back little patterns here. This is what you see when things are going to probably consolidate a little bit more. I saw this on Avalanche and Solana. I'll get to there in a second. Just be aware. Listen, big reaction after the crash. You run into an HSI arrow, come back down. More time in the zone. And we have another one. So look, Avalanche, you don't have to chase it. I would expect that to come back in one more time. Shark to 5-0 kind of a thing. That's back down to 35. Also, 4-hour time frame. These are all overbought at the moment. You have a yellow dot, and take a look at what's happening. Yellow dot. There's the dot. What's the open? The open right there on that bar is 38.30. So the next bar, you retested that area. Now I'm looking for the rollover. The rollover to just get to a type 1. It's literally the opportunity started 4 hours ago. Couple more. Yeah, a couple more with like, sure, that big time that finally got a pop. So I started buying that sucker around 20 cents. Where's the daily? It's like this. There you go. There's the T2. Here's the dot. There's 24 after the big flush here. Started buying there. Right at 20, added more at 17. What we had there on the 4-hour looked like this. Where was it? Hold on. What was it? 17. Sorry, I had something at 17 cents. Either way, that's a T2, folks, on the daily. Weekly, yeah, daily's already, it's hitting overbought now, but that thing should follow through. And where's, I guess, the weekly? Weekly is oversold. Let me get a better data feed. What's more? Looking for a weekly pivot. I mean, that's deep in the hole. I might be a little early on that, but I'm not going all in at once. I'm buying in chunks. I suggest you do the same. This will pivot out. Get that to pivot out by Friday and go. But it's great. And the other one, yeah, Myro, I don't know, all those style meme crypto. That one did have a great daily pattern here. And it looks like it's ready to go. You know, here it is, Myro. Don't know what it is. I don't know what Myro is. But there you go with a beautiful daily Gartley. And I think 24, 23.50, 24 on there. Let's jump over to quick some miners, things like that. It's really important. We look Mara. Talked about Mara recently. Marathon Digital. Daily is a shark. Ooh, man, that was up. That's up another buck since a couple 2 hours ago. It's a clear type 1 to 24, folks. 24. Let the stair step continue. There and there. Riot's the same deal. Last time I talked about MicroStrategy. All of those are up. Riot, same type of thing. Riot had an HSI, but it's more about the weekly. There you go. Retesting that weekly zone. So every time it's under 10, it's a buy. That's what we said last time. We'll do it again. I think this is that a weekly? Sorry. Let me see here. Weekly low, 861. What was the low? All right, so tough to see, but the bar last week's low did retest that zone. So you're probably one more this week and next week from getting a yellow dot. That's pretty big. This is a successful test of the support, and it's probably in the best position since that last signal. We're going to get a dot most likely next week. We're still gunning for 32. Still gunning for 32. We'll monitor it on the way, monitor on the daily. If we don't run into some patterns like we did back here, perfect type 2 crab, we'll see. But I think, yeah, Riot's ready to go. Continue higher. 1660. Immediate target, and then the big type 1 on the weekly. Are they going to go? Because they don't really have a reason to sell anymore. The halving's done. Time for them to do their move. Really, clean spark. Probably the strongest of all of these. Amazing. Daily oversold. 4-hour pattern. Nothing. 4-hour daily oversold. This one, sorry. It's a shark. Obviously, we have this prior shark, prior crab. Everything's focused at around 23 bucks. Go back and retest that. Not a big deal. Yeah, I think, well, let's look at BlackRock. Why not? They seem to be on the move with all these new ETFs and everything. Here's BlackRock. If you're not familiar with BlackRock, please educate yourself. It's one of the big players in all of finance. What's here? Daily oversold. Not really a pretty pattern. That's a 4-hour. Daily oversold is like that. That's good. What about weekly? Weekly, some resistance. Almost there. I mean, BlackRock, this should be, it's probably like a watered down MicroStrategy. It's not pure crypto play, but if you want to have your finger in the pie of many financial instruments, BlackRock's probably the way to go with a little Bitcoin sympathy or crypto sympathy. But right now, let's give it a little more time. I'd want to see the daily's oversold. The 4-hour looks like that. Not really the best harmonic pattern setup, but I'm more concerned with finding an opportunity on BlackRock. It looks like this. If we connect dots longer term, this is poised for an 886 retest. We can kind of do something like, it's kind of like this. Notice the B point, exact 618. We're 786, like there. 875, 870. Looking for an inflection up. Coinbase, another one, hit the daily. It had a daily oversold. There you go. Daily yellow dot. It was yesterday. Any 4-hour patterns? 4-hour patterns. I had a bat. Hold on. It was the hourly. It was a bat on the hourly. Coinbase was a bat here. and another looping type 2. So just familiarize yourself. Goes all the way up past target 2. Some back-to-back action, bullish pattern to bearish pattern. How do you know? What's the way to do it? You run a trend line. Okay, it's usually an accelerated trend line. What's that mean? More than like 60 degrees, 70 degrees, something like that, where the trend clearly launches. And then you can't get through, or you break the trend line down. We've seen a lot of these where they come all the way back to retest the original zone. This is forms another pattern. So I'm looking really 208, 210 should be your floor going forward to get you back eventually. I mean, on this move from this low, minimum 245, probably more like 275. Many patterns that have shaped up that are they're stabilizing now. Look for entries. Look for, pullbacks. 5-minute. Give me some 5-minute dynamics. 5-minute shark pattern. All right, shark to 5-0. Something like that. Shark, come down, hit the 5-0, and then go. Like that. One or two more. I'll look at Hut and Wolf for you. Who said that? Grace Foundation. Look at Hut. That is amazing. That's amazing. Where's the... I thought Hut was something big here. Oh, no. You know what that is? It's on the daily. Hut's been back-to-back bouncing. Check out all these patterns. Small little shark. Come all the way back down. You do have an HSI. That's just started. $8 on Hut. What about SDIG? Mitch, you were all over this SDIG way back when. Yeah, look at that. Came back for the type 2. This is a tough one. Why is it tough? Well, typically when you have a type 1 reaction, it goes to target 1. Target 1, depending on the pattern, but most of the time it's like a 382. 382 from the high to the low, 382. Hits that at a minimum. That's not the only spot, but a minimum, as long as you see that. When do you know it's possibly a type 2? Not till you're all the way back on the return move. Like if you see something like this and start to roll over and you're like there at 6 or 550 or something, it's begging for the magnet retest to 435. This one just decided to go to the hop. But it's down there. Stronghold Digital. Could we retest that at 225 and give us a dot? Yeah, that's the ideal confirmation scenario. Not chasing any of these. Weekly time frame, you have HSI popping. Still more time. Still more time. What was the one you had, Mitch? KNC type 2? Sure. Let's look at that before we get out of the crypto sphere. KNC USD. Isn't that Kyber Network or something? KNC, Kyber Network, KNC. Weekly, beautiful dot. Always helpful to see like an oversold dot there. Daily time frame. Oh yeah, my friend. Oh yeah. Beautiful bat. Thank you. I was not looking at this. Now I am. So Mitch is saying this. There's the reaction, yes. And look, it just blasted off, but came all the way back down to retest it. That's no coincidence, folks. No coincidence, all right? And I do want people to understand with these kind of bullish patterns, all right, if you think they're going to moon, you still have to run your trend line. It has to maintain the trend line out of the hole, out of the zone. If this was going to continue, it would have held this trend line and we would have kept on moving up. But we ran into another pattern. Tried to blast off, but ran into another pattern. And this one did a 1 and right 2. It was perfect. Now we're 2 of 2 with a dot. The exact number on that, the open of that yellow dot bar, that's 58.58. Call it 59. Should not see this thing back down there at all. This should already be started. So Kyber, and where does it go? Well, go back and retest the shark. Not only target 2 off the bat pattern, which is target 2 is like 77 cents, but these prior bearish zones help us too. So maybe 77 to 87 off of this low at 55. But these are good. Let's jump really quick. Got to get into the NASDAQ. Talk about 4-hour patterns. Talk about oversold signals. Not only that, but look, we got deeply oversold last week on Friday. Not a problem. We have, a few things here. They're not the prettiest, but you're looking for stabilization in the 17.3 area, 17.2. Let me go to the QQQ because that's a better chart on the 4-hour. There you go. We hit the 618, and we really just did a pretty phenomenal inflection. There's your 618. 618 for the year, guys. I said this last time. We just look at the 2024 action, 618. Because I said if we don't hold the 618, yeah, then we just do a reset of the year's gains at 886. But the 618 is holding. That remains. It must be the inflection going forward. So if you're looking at the Qs, got to hold this 415 level. You're 424 now. What's there? Remember this zone. Okay, remember it's a shark zone. And we are squeezed from the hop level 445. I was saying, okay, minimum check back to 424. You went to 413. That's fine. What are we looking for? Stabilization. Looking for this week to hit it and pivot. I mentioned this last time as well. Look, complex structure is happening here on your RSI. This is your friend, just like it was last time. Down here in the June correction, you got down to the 50. Once we got down to the 50, which was only a few weeks here, okay, we made the inflection in June. We were bottom by the end of 1 month later, and you took a little stabilization. That's what we need to see going forward. I can't stress enough how important this is. I just removed all my indicators. How important this is. Let's just look at this. Respecting the RSI or indicator formations, critical. It's going to give you a lot of insight, especially with crypto, that you wouldn't otherwise see. You might be waiting for a large correction that never happens. There's the Q is the weekly. We're at the bottom end of that channel. So be it. That's what you want to see. And really, last week has to be the exhaustion candle. Got to be the exhaustion candle there. So for your weekly time frame and what we want to see continuing in this uptrend, because the target, the 1618 plan doesn't change just because we have this pullback. In fact, it's the stair-step process only at a 113. I like that. I want to see this kind of corrective wave pullback within the trend. I mean, that's normal, rational trading behavior. And then pivot off a hair and do the next move up. Go back up to the top end of the range. From here, you're oversold. You are. Look, daily. Hold on. Qs. Come on. Oh, let me change. Let me get my change this back. QQQ. There you go. Oversold with a daily HSI. That triggered yesterday. Literally on the close yesterday. You finally got oversold. There you go. Also, Amplified was deeply oversold. That's a strong position with your indicators, folks. It's a special combination. I want to highlight how important that test is. It's definitely going to be impactful going into the summer. You're looking at the inflection. You're looking at the pre-summer pivot right now. I want to see this thing continue, get above the 50. Now, do we screw around for a couple of days here and check back first? Or is it like here, back in January? Or you go back there, December. All right, and it just continues. We'll know in a day or two. Because a day continuation higher, this probably doesn't check back. You probably continue. And we can track HSI here, not even at the 50 level yet. So again, early stages, but you have everything you want to see. Probably the most substantial development is that we got oversold combo, double oversold, HSI and amplified. Last time we had that, you have to go all the way back to September. These are big readings. If I don't highlight them, they can easily be overlooked. Those were big oversold readings. But the Q, you need to be staring at your low right there, 414. Do patterns work on RSI? Of course they do. It's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be exact. We use them as a model. And again, let me go back to volume 2 here. This is available on Harmonic Trader. Review it. What is it? It's chapter 6. And this was done, this is 2007, guys. Okay, and this is probably one of the best little confirmation strategies, came from trial and error. This RSI stuff was a result of losing a load of money after the .com bust. After the .com busted, people like me were trying to buy all of these on trying to buy Amazon at an all-time 618 when it eventually went to the all-time 886. Sounds like crypto, right? What really helped is I said, okay, if we're going to use RSI, which I felt was the best fundamental indicator reading that was defining how far any situation could move at a minimum, then what the formation was critical. What's that? It's the weekly, that's British pound. Right at the top, British pound on a weekly chart. Complex formation goes to the 50, then you retest to set up the bigger divergence. That's why it works so well. There's the total, this is what you call an RSI BAM. Relative Strength Index Bat Action Magnet Move. What is that? Well, you have your M formation. That's the thing we're looking at for all of crypto, everything. We want to see this reaction and then comes down to the 50. Let me blow it up. Let me make it really big. Oh, that's too big. Come on. Come on. Let me get that in the screen. There you go. Really big. Everybody take a screenshot. Hit a print screen. If you're too lazy to download the book, just go there. Print screen on that right there. Because where are we right now? With Bitcoin, With the Qs, a lot of these, they've done that M formation on amplified. They're at the 50. A lot of them are down at the oversold already, and now it's time to go back and do the return move. Probably going to jiggle around for a few weeks with a lot of these, even daily QQQ or the SPY, all of these. You're right here. You just did the inflection out. And we might have a few weeks or several more days of trading before we start the full return, but you're there. Look, you're there, oversold with HSI. Big stuff. Okay, really, can't emphasize it enough. Let me show you a couple of, let's get the other screens up. Let's look at a couple of these stocks. Something I'm looking at, Autodesk. Beautiful, Autodesk, big bat pattern, okay? HSI double test here. And this was wasn't this a weekly? It's a weekly. Weekly's oversold, amplified's oversold. You have a daily pattern. Look at everything that's going on here. Daily, you got patterns. Weekly, it's a T2 off of that butterfly. Autodesk is one of those, is a high flyer, giving you an ideal setup, ideal retracement. A couple others. Apple. What are we doing with Apple? Anyone buying this? Oversold. HSI, oversold. Red line is on. This complex structure right there, setting up at a high level. It's going sideways, taking its time. Where's the daily? Looks like that. We're back here at a bat pattern. Really should be off of that low as well. I think it's 167, 170. But I'm closely watching Apple. What do I want to see? A couple more days. I don't need to jump in front of that just yet, but a couple more days. Can you stabilize out? What about Tesla? Earnings tonight. What is Tesla going to do? It's really close. But my question is it 145 or is it 125? 145 currently is your hop level on the Gartley. And look, HSI is coming out of the zone. There it is. Coming out of the zone. Not the first time. We've had a few readings. There's back in March. And there is back in January. 1, 2, 3 HSI tests. Hasn't done a heck of a lot off of any of these, but you're getting really close to being oversold. Here's the bigger pattern. And this is something with a lot of these stocks. We have the bat pattern. It's a type 2 at 127.88. You're 145. I think this is going to happen. Okay, your weekly here. HSI checked back like 2 weeks ago. You're kind of down here where the XA level, that pattern right there, it's begging to be clipped. 127.88. All right, at a minimum, how do we know Tesla's really going to move? 1, needs to stabilize. 2, I need to see a 3-bar breakout. Where since this pattern have we seen a 3-bar breakout? And I know I went through this last week, but it's really helpful because the patterns indicator, that sets you up, but you still need to see price action, especially when you bleed down. You have like one test, come back down, flounder, back down again. I would love to hit a daily hop level pattern for any of these major techs, but it's not quite ready. I need to see hit the hop another day, 2 days, and then can we at least have a single day break out of the 3-bar range? Like 3-day range would be 3 days ago. 1, 2, 3. Is it well above 150? Because if it could clear 150, the chances for it to do the return move 180 minimum or 222, which is target 1, would have a lot stronger probability if you can at least hold that level. I think we have to look at this. You're so close to that weekly level, 127. And yes, it would be a type 2. Final note about Tesla. There's going to be a big opportunity here. It will be big. But we need to size it up closely. We also have a prior HSI. What does that mean? Look, consider that like your relative strength marker, harmonic strength marker of where the indicator bias is turning straight up. Now you're doing this looping thing. Come all the way back. That's down at like 115, 120. There is a possibility this will scratch those lower levels before doing anything. I'm not catching that knife. Not yet, but it's close. Let me show you one or two things I'm looking at now. NXP semiconductors, okay? Go to the daily. What do we have here? Well, daily oversold. Beautiful bat pattern. Looks like full-on type 1 started yesterday at 215. It's a 886 swing off of February. Would have loved it. We'd done a full year 886, but I'm watching this closely. Maybe we do a quick T1 up to target 1, but you're starting to see patterns here, which, okay, you have my attention there, and then come back. Something like that, but still early. But you do have oversold on amplified and HSI. Some others, what about NVIDIA? You know, that did bounce off of, what was that? There's your crash on NVIDIA. 750, 4-hour time frame. What do we have here? Didn't have, or was it hour? I had something there at like right at 760. Wasn't it? No, scratch that. Come back to that. Maybe it was Qualcomm. Qualcomm, hourly, yeah, Gartley right off the top. I think a 4-hour HSI, you know, around 160. There was a yellow dot here, and it's literally today. So Qualcomm looking for this thing to do continuation. That's a really friendly retracement in the uptrend, for sure. Yellow dot. Last time we've seen it, it's like there. You go back to January, you go back to December, you go back to August. Every daily dot has been a great continuation signal. This should be no different. And at least go back, retest all-time highs. 170 or 161 to 175. Even in a basic return move. And larger time frame, you know, we've talked about going to the all-time 886 on Qualcomm. It's kind of like that. 886 is 182, 183. There's a lot of these that have set up, and they did not, like Autodesk, you know, looked like it was a nasty retracement and gave you a beautiful setup. A couple more. Yeah, let's jump over there. I think we got to, let me go to Microsoft on the daily. Yes, New York. And just another one. Look, what are we going to do with these Microsoft and Meta? Where are we within the long term? Because daily time frame, HSI is triggering today. You want to see that. And these signals here remind me of what happened back in December. You know, round 360 to go to 500. And this is another one. You're at 400. I was up to 425. But another one here to go. Just keep going. These trends are not what we saw recently, just a retracement. Okay, nothing more than just a retracement. I'm continuing to look for daily oversold, 4-hour patterns. If it's crypto or if it's tech, Yeah, this was a shark. That's what it was. Right at 400 bucks. That should be your floor. I mean, for the year, or at least for the summer run, you're looking at the floor here at 400 bucks. Broadcom, definitely. Yeah, those are the names. Broadcom, ASML, AMAT, up 23. Look, oversold. Ah, look at that. We're in business with that one. Why? It's a type 2. Type 2. What's the normal expectation for all harmonic patterns? Terminal bar completes, and we have a yellow dot there. Okay, but with all that great stuff, we still look for a reaction, which it gave you. Straight through, target 1 to target 2, no follow through, bearish dot, can't continue. Okay, those are first signals that this reaction's it. Draw the trend line. Where's the trend line get violated? To the right. And then we do the looping. Come back. Looping. Up and around, loop around, bang. Another HSI down here. So 230 or 212, excuse me, 1230. You're 1247 here. You come back to 1229. That's your number. But beautiful 4-hour structure. Rally it because it's a T2. Look, T2 goes to the T2. That is in T, capital I, type 2 goes to target 2. 100 higher, 100 higher, 100 higher. Like it. I like that one. Yeah. What about Adobe's another one. So Adobe's been getting beaten up recently. HSI, but check out on the 4-hour. It is a type 2 down here. And no, type 1 shark with HSI. There you go. On the 4-hour. 4-hour pattern, yeah. Hop level 479. You're under the hop, but the confirmation came in secondary there. A little late. Daily oversold. Now you are. Okay. Yellow dot with the shark. Same pattern. Better on the daily. Look, better on the daily. The dot is today. So I would say starting tomorrow, literally tomorrow on Adobe, fire away. Hop level 479 is your friend. A lot of patterns here. You guys see them? Couple more. Yes. Thanks, Pepe. He says the software is a total game changer. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Absolutely. Couple others. Stryker, medical products. Man, look at the Nasdaq's up 285 right now. Here's Stryker. I love companies like this. There you go. Daily, HSI, shark off the top. Today's day one. 330. Boy, I remember that thing. That was an old Value Line Investment Survey stock. Look at that trend. Look at that trend. Stryker, medical products. You tell me. Is that an uptrend? Yeah. And so you want to use every daily pattern to your advantage, just like this. You're on the top end of that. Top end of that long-term trend channel, but here's some perspective. A little shark right off the top. Yeah, I like those. Let me show you guys really quick. I didn't even get into show you the SPY. And we got to look at gold. Gold is doing its pullback. We talked about that last week. SPY as a shark on the daily. Liking it. Another high level pattern right off the top. That's exactly what you want. And what this will end up being is just, look, the March move, mid-March to the end of March, it was a 1618 throwdown. impulsive 1618. Okay, how are we going to shape this up? Like I would say for now 509, 509.24. We go there by Thursday, easily by tomorrow maybe. But the type 1 shark in full bloom. What do we have? Yeah, and daily oversold. This is a critical point. What happened on Friday, Thursday of last week is going to end up being an important step within 2024. You want to see all of these pivots be the next set of continuation signals, not only to go higher, but to go to all-time highs. Watch it. We'll know. Look, one of the things I see is HSI is just starting as of, I'd say yesterday or today in earnest. When we get out of the above the 50 level, when you can get to here, that's when price action has a bigger chance to do much more. So we'll probably run up to this 50 level today, tomorrow, and then let's see, can we blast through 509.24? But for now, you're 506, 505.97. If you're long here, you're playing it for 509.24. We've got big earnings coming up. Can't imagine that they're all going to be, horrible to not bring it to these levels. Obviously, looking good. You want to see this software print patterns like that at a high level because it reminds me a lot of the bat pattern that we had last fall. And if I take away, let's just get some relative perspective here. A year ago, SPY was coming from like 380, 400. And we did a big move up. Consolidated for weeks and then gave you a bat pattern that triggered and never gave you a type 2. It was a strong move. Okay, you've got a high level HSI, that continuation, all of that played into the fact that this was not coming back. Even another thing that is really screams to me is we had back-to-back patterns. I would certainly say, wow, bat pattern to a shark pattern. I'm going to be careful here. I've got confirmation bearish everything. And what happens? You hit the level and you go sideways, then break out. Even, let's say, this is common. This is a common thing that it happens to me on 5-minute patterns, like NQ or ES. Really, NQ is what I'm trading a lot lately, mostly NQ. Is that I'll see this and I'll get confirmation. I'll say, oh, well, we're back to back. This, I'm in down here on the type 1. I caught this great move. Okay. Maybe it's time to bail. A couple of red bars and then it continues higher. Usually we're going to get another HSI continuation. All right. So even if I miss that overspill, the strongest of patterns, they give you a high level continuation signal that you don't miss out. So natural instincts sort of say, all right, harmonic action back to back. Let me take profits up here no matter what. But we go into the sideways, grind higher 30 bars later, and then you generate another oversold reading like there. Tells you it's stronger. That's what we're seeing in a lot of these big name like Microsoft or Meta. They continue higher. Another one, HSI, high level, but now we have bullish pattern. A lot there. There's a lot there. It's I'm impressed that we keep on printing these type of patterns. That's what you want to see. J&J, I love J&J. Like talk about USDC. That's just another one. Shark, type 2, J&J, buy it for the IRA. Beautiful, type 2, 143 and a dot. Weekly, sure. Retesting that prior dot. Yeah, hasn't done much. That's kind of like, remember UNH down there? Look at that. Oh, okay, this is pretty interesting. So UNH, I'm going to show you two perspectives on UNH. UNH back-to-back patterns. That makes 450 screaming continuing support. Screaming. If we came back and hit that one more time, that would be about it. That's a weekly chart. Now get some perspective. How do you feel about it now? Because these are high-level patterns. Doesn't matter. You should be looking at these patterns at a high level and saying, okay, this is a pause. We should see this thing continue. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Continue what has been going on for 10 years. You're just running that train track regression channel. In this case, you're at the lower end, unlike, I forget which one it was that was at the upper end. This one's lower end, weekly. I like that one. UNH. Those old ones, you know, the broader market has not even opened up yet. You look at like the diamonds, and diamonds are, look what happened. Remember we talked about the crab last week, but what happened? We got oversold. We are oversold already. This is not an easy read. It's probably, if you don't understand, if you don't have the software and you don't have a confirmation strategy like this, you might just look at the pattern and say, oh, this thing's done. When what happened? You completed the pattern, and then within 4 weeks, you let out all the air. All of the air that had to come out on the initial reaction already came out, and we're popping out of that oversold. Also, this is the SPY. Oh no, sorry, these are the diamonds. So great for the broader market. Look, complex structure here. Come down to the 50. If we can recognize that, hit the 50, we should be looking for that to return. So I would think the diamonds are ready at a high level here. Hold it. That's your low. Last week, that last week low has to be it. And now you're going to do the march back to 397 or higher, something back into the zone. We had something like that happen on the SPY last year. And it's again, it's when you have just a reaction, a pause, and then you go counter trend HSI like that, you're going to have to do more time up here, more work. Think of this. Hey, you're not going to get the full type 1. We need more work. This is going to be like an 8 to 10 week proposition minimum. Couple more. I want to go to gold because I said gold last time. I own gold for just because it matters, because we already did what we did, and it's been remarkably strong. Also, weekly. Remember, we are at the 1618. The last, remember this? Off the last ditch here, 1618 is right there around 2350, depending on where we're pulling it from. 2370. HSI is triggering this week, and I'm very firm in my opinion here that we're in a pause. Gold's done it for now. Great, like it really is a phenomenal progress to get up to 2400, but we're gonna have to come back and pull back now. All of that noise from 2 weeks ago, that was the sell the news event. So let it come out. We'll probably just come back in, get another HSI a lot lower. But that's not it's not a buy at 23. Maybe it's a buy at 21 or 2150. We're not there yet. But for now, gold's top is in. Top is in for gold. And we can look at crude oil. Same type of deal. You know, HSI, we had the like 2 weeks ago. So we had that shark and a couple of yellow dots 2 weeks ago. Now today, because you go to the daily time frame, we let a lot of air out of the tires just with 4 or 5 days of action. We didn't get the target one, but we're always waiting for HSI or target one. Looks like this. Amplified hit too. Take a look at this. If you're not, I want to highlight these signals, especially those folks that are new to the software. Look, the green line stopped, meaning this tested. That's a confirmation. All you need to do is say, okay, when the green line stops, start looking to the right. What else do we have here? Because that's important. In the same way up here, red line stops, start looking to the right, because that's a confirmation there. And you go back, look, red line stops here. Any HSI? No, not yet. Okay, the dots came maybe 20 sessions later, but that's the kind of thing you're looking for. Puts you in the right area. Also tells you this is not going to take much to let the air out, relieve the overbought condition, and let's start again. Crude would be great at 77. You're at 83 right now. Got as low as, what was that, 80? 80 and change. And then the weekly time frames like that, I still say we're doing the march. Get the march up for a T2 eventually. Yeah. The gold situation, I was saying this, and we did 2 weeks ago, we did that golden harmonic pattern session. Gold is still relevant, extremely relevant for everything we need to consider going forward. Think about it this way. We're entering in where we'll be halfway through the decade. By the end of this year, halfway through the decade, and gold has made phenomenal decade progress, and gold is like that. Gold's a decade-long asset, not a short term. So whatever gold's doing, it's got to have a lot of fervor behind it, is the way to think about it, because gold will not move unless there's real demand. It's manipulated, yes. All right. Not to mention, it's traded all the time by the big banks who are hedging. So there's always a lot of sell pressure. The real net result of gold is probably even more sustainable than crude oil. It's like that. We'll continue to get pullbacks along the way, but if you go back a couple decades, you know, this is the type of thing I'm talking about. Long-term stair step. Folks that are keeping their money in gold, they don't pull it out. They're looking for capital preservation. That's what that is. So for now, let's let it do its thing, pull back, whatever. But longer term, yeah, we get to 2100, 2150. That's another opportunity. All right, so keep an eye on that. We'll get into more of these on Thursday. That's what I have for today. Thanks, folks. Great session as always. Catch up with me over at Harmonic Trader. We'll give away a book or two and some software on Thursday, so come on, join me then.